Hey, welcome to Keight Krafts. I'm Keight. Today I would like to share with you my make for the hashtag Get Creeping on Halloween. Let's get started. So to kick things off, I have used the outside in stitched rectangle die and I have cut a rectangle out, and now I'm just figuring out which letters I want to use. I also have the full moon from the full moon die set. That's what you see there in the circle. And I'm using Henry's ABCs to spell out the word spooky. And I'm using that Q upside down to give me an idea of what kind of spacing I'm going to need for the lettering. So once I've got this all lined up how I'm going to want it, I'm going to grab some washi tape and I'm going to stick all of that down to my panel, as you can see in a minute. So I will grab the new Lawn Fawn washi tape that I have, cut myself a little piece, remove the upside down Q, and then I will stick this down, and I will take this over to my Sizzix die cutting machine and cut that out. So once I've got all that cut out, I will carefully peel off all the letters, and then I'll go ahead and bring that O back in and cut out the center that I'm missing there. So we have the entire word spooky. But I want to make sure that I do save all those little inserts right there, because I'm going to go back in and use those lettering as well. Well, the inside of the lettering, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to reuse the tape that I already have, pop out that O, and I will save that for another card. And then I will do this, just like that. So I have the word spooky. Yay! Next up, we are going to use some of the Distress Oxide. I am using Wild Honey, and I also have some Ripe Persimmon, and then we'll go in with some Seedless Preserve. I think like these three colors are probably, I would say, my favorite fall colors to blend together for sunsets so far this year. I haven't quite strayed from this. I seem to be using it in every card. And of course, what would splatter be for Keight without some fine tech pearlescent watercolors? And we are going to use the deep black and give that a good swirl. And then we are going to tap that all over my painting here. Well, not painting, but ink blending, just to give it a little bit more of a spooky feel. So once I've got that done, then we are going to, oh, no, we're going to put a little bit more in there because you can't have enough splatter. I just love it. Love it. So next we've taken our panel and we are going to use the, I missed it there. It's the Pearl Silver. So this is another one of my favorites, is the Pearl Silver. And we're just going to flick that all over my spooky panel here, just to give it a little more of a magical feel. And then once I'm satisfied with all the flicking I've flicked, we are going to take this off camera and let it dry for a little while. Alrighty, now that it is dry, I'm going to kind of eyeball everything that I need, and I'm going to bring out my guillotine trimmer, and I'm going to trim this down just a smidge, because I don't want that poking out where the spooky is. I want to be able to see the silver through the spooky, and this right here is just the simple stitched tree border. I've been itching to use this one. I really like it, especially when it's like the backdrop like this. And I haven't really had much of a chance to use it, though I do pull it out with the intent to use it and then never get around to using it. So I'm just going to trim off a couple of these trees. I'm going to keep eyeballing where I need to do the trimming, and once I'm satisfied, I'll just cut off that last little tree, and then I'll be able to trim all of this down to size, as you can see. So I've got the little house from the Shadowbox card add-on, and we are going to create a spooky little scene with some lost shadow. Now, I used this technique in a previous video, and I really enjoyed the look of it once it's dried back, and I just grabbed the wrong brush. I used one of my yellow brushes. So here I'm just going to tap off a little bit, and I'm going to just kind of swirl it up at the top, and then I'm going to tap it. And this tapping almost gives it like more of a fog feel, like a cloudy fog feel. I mean, this would be pretty cool if you did this on black paper and had like a moon above it or something that you've ink blended, and the moon would be catching the tops of the clouds. I don't know, maybe that's for another card. We're still not even into October yet, and I'm talking about making more. I can't get enough of Halloween stuff. I love it. And if you don't know what Get Creeping on Halloween is, even though we are only a month away from Halloween, Get Creeping on Halloween is a hashtag-driven series of Halloween projects started by Jaime over at Inky and Scrappy. These projects are posted on the last day of each month and all are welcome to join in on the spooky fun. If you don't have a YouTube channel, don't worry about it. Just post your makes on social media and use the hashtag #GetCreepingOnHalloween. You could even tag Inky and Scrappy in your make too. We do keep our eye out for makes, even though this isn't my hashtag per se, but I do like showing a little love to those who do participate in this hashtag, and truth be told, I reckon this has been almost an entire year. I think October, November, maybe November was the first one she decided that she was going to post, and I think I participated in that one, and then maybe the following one, and then I kind of dropped off the face of the earth with it for a little while because I couldn't quite get things organized, but I'm organized now, as best as organized as I can. I don't know, I keep trying to give you guys some fun inspiration videos, and I've got a lot going on behind the scenes. I don't know if you guys happen to catch any of my community posts, but if you go next to the About on my YouTube homepage, you can see there is a community tab, and if you go onto the community tab, I like to post behind the scenes of what I've been up to. And you can also catch me on Instagram as well if you're over on Instagram or Facebook. I do participate a bit in Facebook, but not as much as I do Instagram and YouTube. I find that those two are my main social media outlets, and if you're on Threads as well, which Threads is still kind of new, I guess. I don't really know much about it. I was under the impression it was kind of like Twitter, and I'm not versed in the slightest about Twitter. I was never really on Twitter, and I don't really know how to use it, so I don't really know how to use Threads either, but I do pop on there from time to time to post, you know, a little behind the scenes picture, which I like to post on my community tab. So if you're interested in behind the scenes, you know, make sure you keep an eye out for the community tab, or, you know, sometimes I'll post them in my stories on Instagram. So anyway, let's get back to what we're doing. So I've gone ahead and colored in what I needed to color to make the background yellow, and then I colored in with some black to get rid of that white. And now I'm going to take an extra piece of black here, which I should have cut everything. Well, no, I wouldn't have cut everything out of black because I needed to color that bit yellow. I mean, you could use, not tissue paper, vellum. Sorry. You could use vellum to create that yellow color, but I like to use what I have on my desk, and that's what I had. So I've cut out another piece of the background there for the house, and then just cut off the bottom so I have a level playing field and nothing sagging. And I've added a little bit of that tape runner, and I'm gonna add a little bit of glue because you know me, I like to double stick just about everything. Whether or not it's necessary, I don't know. I could probably save on a lot of glue and tape runner if I didn't double stick everything, but it is what it is. I just want to make sure that things stick nice and well, because sometimes, if not most of the time, these cards end up in the market pile. So once I've added a little bit of Wink of Stella, I am going to grab some foam tape out of my drawer here, and we are going to cut down some foam tape and go around the back side of this panel, which I kind of like those ghosts too. I think I've got some of this ghost paper still left. I think this paper is Hocus Pocus by Echo Park. It's a 6x6 paper pad that I used, and I think I got this one when I went to Michigan and stopped by Scrappy Chic. I think this is the paper that I got. I don't know. Maybe you want to go back and see that unboxing and tell me. I mean, I could just very well go back and look, or just look on my craft desk because it's probably still out because I have a Crafternado in my craft room. Anyway, I've added in some of my foam tape here, and once I'm happy with the amount of foam tape I have, I'm just going to kind of eyeball where I want everybody to go. And then once I'm satisfied with that, I'm going to add a little bit of the tape adhesive, and we're going to double stick it with some liquid glue. And once I've overly glued that, I am going to give that a line up on where I want that to be, eyeball it, shift it a little, and then once I'm happy, I'll give that a good mash down. And then I'm going to move everything to the side on my messy desk, and I'm going to take off all the release tape, and then we're going to add some glue just to double stick everything because that's how I do. So once I've got that glued down, I am going to stand above my project, and I am going to carefully, yeah, no, not very carefully, I don't want to wreck it. I'm just going to leave it as is. And then I have these little bats here that I wanted to use, and the bats from this are from the Shadow Box add-on, I believe. Yeah, most likely. So I'm just going to take the inside of the O's and the P, and I'm going to glue those in. But we're going to do a little trick with the bats as well. So I've got these little tiny slivers of foam tape for the insides of the letters, and I'm going to fiddle with them until I realize that I have tweezers and no fingernails. And I'm going to add a little bit of, yeah, I have a little bit of glue on there, and they're a little bit squishy still. The silver paper that I'm using is kind of textured, as you could see. I think I got it from the dollar store, and I was looking for something else originally before I made this, and thought, ooh, this would be fun paper for a Halloween card, so that's what I did. I mean, you could easily turn this into a shaker card as well. Before you put on the foam tape, you could put a acetate on the back, and you know, put your foam tape on, add your little bits. You could even block off the spooky and have a different color shaker mix in there, and yeah, maybe that'll be for another card. That would be a lot of fun. But I didn't want to make a shaker card, even though I love a good shaker. This is what I was talking about a minute ago, the bats. So I wanted the bats to kind of hang off and on. So I used a little sliver of foam tape on half of the bat, so on one of the bat wings there. So that way I would have a little bit more stability in the bats, kind of hanging out there, and yeah, I mean, it would be easier, again, if this was on acetate. You could just glue them right to the acetate, but because I have foam tape on the panel and behind it, I want to be able to have the bats off and on, and this gives it just a little bit more dimension, I think. And I really liked how it turned out. I mean, I could have gone in with some sequins or something like that, some kind of embellishment, but I thought the bats were just enough of an embellishment, so. And of course it's got the glitter, and, well, glitter pen now. So I'm taking my Sakura Jelly Roll Stardust pen instead of a white Jelly Roll pen, and I'm just going around like I would for a Jelly Roll white pen, the gel pen. And I'm just going to do that with the accent. I thought this was kind of nice, a little switch up. It is noticeable when you look at it, and it's kind of subtle, but once it catches the light, boy, does it sparkle, and I love it. So once I'm happy with all of that yummy goodness of sparkle, I think I'm going to be able to put my card on a card base. Oh, no, not yet. Sorry, I lied. I'm going to do some controlled stars. That's what I'm doing here. Sorry, I fooled you. So once I'm done that, my card is ready for a card base, and my card is complete. I do encourage you to participate in Get Creeping in Halloween, and as always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care.